welcome back to the Rain Brings Growth podcast. We're back again with Cody Fernley. How's it been going, dude?
It's been good, man. It's been really good. I'm excited to be back. Thank you so much for having me again. It's been about a year since I was on the show, I think.
Yeah, I think you're like episode 4, and now we're 33.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Life's moving, man.
yeah.
Life's
Put some
moving.
reps in. It's a little bit more polished since the first time you were in here, but
Seriously, we were talking about it before the podcast, and it looks great in here. It's just coming together every time. I mean, you put a lot of stories up too, so like I feel like I'm following you as you're building this out. And it's just looking really good. Like lighting, cameras. We have this. It sounds like I'm gonna be one of the last guests where like the background behind you is gonna look like this. It's gonna be like all these panels. So it's just ever evolving. It's looking
yeah,
good, bro.
that's what it's all about, man. Just keep evolving.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's funny because you were talking about the stories thing, and my dad was mentioning, he's like, I don't even feel like I need to call you half the times. I just look at your stories and see what you're doing, and then I feel like we're caught up. So
Nice. That works out in the best sometimes.
Yeah.
It feels like it's it's a good way for everybody to kind of just keep up with what you're doing without
Yeah.
you like kind of having to go out of your own way, not in a negative way, but having to go out of your own way and kind of just catch everyone up. It's like just follow me what I'm doing because we're not doing anything special. It's just
Yeah.
this is just what we're doing.
yeah,
Just
life
post
gets
it.
busy, but you can still watch the kids, and you can just hear stories just authentic. You just point and shoot. You're not scripted, anything. Just what's up? Here he goes.
Yep, absolutely.
So last time you were in here, you were in prep. It was, I think, August or September you came in. So when was your show last year?
So before we get into this, want to crack an any with me, bro?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready? Cheers.
Cheers.
God is good.
God
Annies
is
are
great.
great. God is, I guess that order was not right. God is great. Annies are good.
Yeah.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
So yeah, last time I was on the show, I was in prep. The show ended up being in DeKalb, Illinois on end of November. I think it was like November 27th, somewhere in there. It was a really fun experience. I didn't place as high as I wanted to, but it was the best placing that I did have. Like that was my third show. And it was a really competitive show, definitely the most competitive show that I competed in up until that point. So it was overall a really good experience. And it's honestly, though, been nice to kind of transition out of bodybuilding, doing some new things right now, and really just taking a lot of the lessons that I learned through bodybuilding pretty much from 2022 to the end of 2024, and just trying to apply some of those mindset and kind of disciplinary factors into things that I'm doing now, you know. But it was a good experience overall. It was a lot of fun. It was the first trip where me and my wife actually got to like travel on an airplane going somewhere. For my job, I do have to travel a lot, so it was fun to like finally have that experience with her. Feel like, wow, I get to go to the airport and go through it with you rather than you just drop me off and get to enjoy that time together. That was definitely the most special part of the trip. Was like I was going to compete, but it was mostly like let's just enjoy a trip together, getting out of town and just having fun for a couple days.
Yeah, I remember those stories you were sharing. You were like meal prepped all of your food to take on the plane and everything. And I mean, what are some things that people don't understand about the week leading up to a show? Because I've heard a lot of stuff I had no clue. Like you're cutting down to like you're counting your sodium and your water intake and everything. Like everything's dialed. But I had no clue. Like when you were starting to pack everything on for the plane and your meals and stuff, I was like, I mean, obviously huge commitment. So that was awesome to see. But what's some things that people just looking wouldn't even understand?
For one, that is the part I really don't miss about the bodybuilding lifestyle and bodybuilding prep was it is a lot of time and it felt very inconvenient to have to pack all these different meals, run it through TSA, and just know like those are just what I'm eating throughout the duration of the trip, whether it was like actual, just deep in prep or actual peak week. But for peak week itself, it's a lot more mental, I think, because at that point, all the physical tribulations, I'd say, the physical things that you're going through, it's kind of over. Like work, you can't really burn any more fat off. You can't really gain more muscle. It's just about drying out at that point. It's about getting all that excess water out of your system. And everybody has their own way of doing it. And one thing that I really learned through doing 3 shows was it can't, everybody's peak week does look different. Some people need to push water, some people need to cut water. Same thing with carbs. Some people might need to just cut out carbs completely and they're just on fats and protein. Some are high carb, no fats, pretty much protein. Um, so it was a lot of just learning on, you just learn a lot about your own body and like how your body responds to carbohydrates, to fats and proteins. And then of course with water, sodium. For me, it was cutting down carbs all the way down to the show, where I'm pretty sure the day I flew in, it was a Thursday. Show was on Saturday. I had um, one meal besides like 40 grams or 30 grams of oats in the morning, where I had like a little bit of rice. And other than that, it was just like asparagus and chicken. And the hardest part with what I was doing was cutting a lot of water at the same time, to where even in show day, I think I had probably like 8 ounces of water through from like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm actually sorry. It would probably be 16 ounces. About 8 ounces like at the actual venue. So I was just like having little scoops of peanut butter with little teeny sips of water, and it was brutal. It was definitely brutal, but learned a lot, and it was really cool to see like that was the best package I ever brought, and that's props to my coach at the time, Ricky. Shout out to Ricky. He was an awesome coach through it, and he brought me a package that, I wish I had more time, and could have got even leaner, even better looking for that. But I mean, he brought the best package I could have possibly brought that day. Yeah, man. I guess to like bring it back, what I learned mostly was just everybody's body is different. Everybody's peak week looks different, but it's usually the time where you just enjoy like the hard part's over and you just have to mentally prep at that point, you know. That's what I'd say.
Yeah. What was your first meal afterwards?
We got a I had a burger. It was a huge burger. I forgot what the place was called. I was so like prep brain that day. Like it's like show's over, blipped. I'm at the hotel eating a burger, but it was a huge burger with fries. It was awesome. That's usually my go-to, man. That or hot wings, but that was burger and fries was my choice that day.
Right on. Yeah, I remember on your stories you were talking about too that it had taken all day long. Like you were at that venue all day long, the way that they had planned it. So you were probably just dying and wanting some food, huh?
It was that was the hardest part of the whole day was I wasn't mentally prepped for how the day was gonna run because most OCP bodybuilding shows it's 10 a.m. the men start classic physique, and then you go through the whole show. So I'm sorry, 10 a.m. like the whole men's show starts. So you have men's physique and classic physique. You go through all the mandatories, you go through all your individuals, you do your awards. Men are done by like 1:30. Women's show starts after like 2 or 3. This show was set up more like an NPC show to where like the men start at 10 a.m., go through your mandatories, and then you go and wait until the women go through all their mandatories. And then when they're done, then you go from competitor number one all the way through all the women for their individual routines. And then after that, you go to men's awards, women's awards. So I knew going into it that it was sort of going to be like that, but I just didn't realize how that day truly was going to go. Like I was just laying on a venue floor for like 6 hours and I was just getting more and more frustrated. I'm like, dude, I'm so tired. Like any other show, I'd be done. But it was a good mental challenge, like looking back at it to where like I had to ask myself, it was negative. It was a negative experience in some ways, but how can I make that positive? So, um, it was good to like go through that and realize, okay, if I do eventually want to do like another show, an NPC show, like I do want to do eventually here in Boise, that's what I'm going to have to expect. And I'm going to have to just mentally prepare for that better. So it was just a big learning experience. And I don't want to say anything negative to like the show promoter or how that show is ran, because it is a popular show. And at the end of the day, it was just like me not mentally preparing enough for what that day was going to look like and how hard a show day can feel in ways. Cause up until that point, it was like, man, you just go, you carb up, you get on the stage, you do your thing, and it's over. And this was like a whole mental, like, I got to stay dialed in for one more day. And it's like every minute is dragging, and you just got to sit in this, like, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm tired. And it just really also gave me a lot more respect for, excuse me, everybody else doing these type of shows and like who are mentally prepared for that, because it's definitely not easy. And you're competing next year, right? You're in
Yeah, I'm
prep
gonna
right
try
now,
to do my first one.
so you're gonna get the whole experience. You're gonna get it. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be there too. If you're gonna do it, I'll be there.
sick. Yeah, it'll be here in Idaho.
Muscle Classic.
I believe so, in June.
It's a good show.
I told Charlie, I'm like, I can never do a fall one. I love hunting too much, man. I can't imagine even trying to go into the mountains and being in a cut. I'm already
It's not
losing
fun.
so much weight when I'm hunting, just
Yeah.
because I'm eating Uncrustables. I mean, like the worst stuff that you can eat, just because it's
Uh huh.
packed in calories, and I don't have to,
It's easy.
the calorie dense stuff. I'm just throwing in my backpack, and
Yep.
I'm still burning thousands of calories a day, and only eating like maybe 2,000 calories a day.
That was tough because when I was in prep last year, I went elk hunting, and prep brain on the mountain, like I felt good for like the first hour or two I'm up. And then it's like as I'm hiking for hour two, hour three, I'm just sitting on the mountain, like, oh my gosh. Like trying to keep my eyes open, like no energy. My thing too is like prepping around the holidays in the fall too. It's so tough, dude. I've learned that the next show I'll do will 100% be a summer show. Like, no question about it. I can't do this like prepping through Halloween, through Thanksgiving or Christmas, whatever. It's too tough. There's so many good treats rolling around this time of year.
Yeah. I felt like I just needed to do a show. I needed a carrot in front of my face. Like I'll still go to the gym, but
Mhm.
I feel like if I have something really driving me, it's gonna make sure that I'm giving it my all and not just going through the motions or, I'm so guilty of getting to the gym and then I'm a talkative guy and I'll just start talking to people and like, you know.
Same.
And
We had a lot
so
of
if
friends
I
at 3D.
yeah, I know. I always joke with Charlie. I'm like, I should just get this podcast sponsored by you guys since half of my guests are from 3D.
For real. It is. It really do be like that, man.
But I feel like if I have a carrot dangling in front of my face, I'm gonna give it my all, and
Mhm.
so. And I think for me too, it's that mental toughness of I want to see what it feels like. I want to say I've done it. Just to add one more thing that I could say I've tried at least. I'm not saying I'm gonna take first, but might as well go for it. I told Charlie that I was like, I almost want like top 5 or something. He's like, no, if you're gonna train for first and then see what happens, but don't like go in there saying you'll take top 5.
True.
So,
Absolutely.
and I didn't realize until someone had told me too that I'll be going in a novice, so it's up against other people that have always just or only done it their first time as well. So
Yep.
I was
Have
like,
one
oh, okay.
class.
Well, that's a little bit different then, because I was thinking if I'm just going against other people that have had experience, then I'm not expecting much. But
You never know, man. You never know what's under the freaking water weight and the excess kind of fat. When you get like shredded, you'll surprise yourself. Like, oh,
yeah,
okay, I'm competitive, or I need to work on XYZ. Like that's what's really cool about bodybuilding is like you could see where maybe the weak areas are, and you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. Or you see where your strong areas are too, which is really, it really is a mood boost when you get to that shredded point. You're like, dang, okay, I got what it takes to at least like step on this stage. So I'm excited for you, dude. You're gonna have a lot of fun. It is definitely experience that I think you come out on the other side um, with growth, learning something new, and I think that's why it is one of the best mentalities to have when you kind of dangling that carrot in front of you. It's because through these preps, you always learn something new about yourself, or you learn something new about the craft that you're engaging in. And that's the most important thing in life, right? Like learning, finding out what's my body capable of, or even more so, what's my mind capable of. Very, very good experience. I'm excited for you, dude. I'm stoked. I'm always stoked to see people get into it because it's like, especially like the gym, we see these people every day grinding, and then it's kind of like finally their time to like step on stage. Um, and it's a really cool experience because I've seen you, like you talked about this a few months ago. Like, I think I'm gonna do this show, and so I've seen you here and there. Our schedules just haven't lined up lately, but um, I've seen you put in the work, and I've seen you like get leaner and leaner, and seeing your stories, posting about that. So like, it's gonna be really cool to see the final package when it's done.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I got to learn about posing. Never done posing in my life, and I hear that's like you can train as much as you want, but if you're a crappy poser, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. So
Start working on it now.
yeah, I was talking with Ryan at the gym, and he was telling me he's like that's everything, man. Is the posing, like
Yep.
the training, of course, and everything that's important too. But if you don't know how to do those transitions between one pose to the next, and you're not looking as good, or confidence, he's like, you just gotta have that confidence when you step out there. Like this is already mine,
Correct.
and it'll transfer into your poses. But
Yep.
if you go out there and you're all nervous and stuff, and you're not, ready for that, he's like, that's why you'll see me out here, like in the middle of the gym. I'll just start posing because I have like kind of an audience. That's what it's gonna be like on game day. So you need to get yourself uncomfortable now, so that when you get out there and the other people that you're up against and they haven't been doing it besides in a mirror, you know.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree with that. Um, it's it's it really takes just being uncomfortable and like just working in that mindset just a little bit every day because it really translates over to game day. Um, I like what you said earlier about like you can't go into these things like saying I'm gonna train for fifth. I'm gonna train just to like not lose. Like you should 100% have that mentality in whatever you're training for to like I'm training to win because that's the only way you're going to train intense enough and intentionally enough to even, make yourself confident on game day. Because that's the worst feeling is getting to that point and you know that I didn't give everything I had because XYZ. So if you go into those preps with the mentality of I'm training to win, at least when game day comes, it's not a surprise that you did win if that's the case, because you never know what you're capable of until you give your 110 and your all to it. But if anything, you're there and you know that no stone was left unturned. So whatever the result is, you're going to be satisfied with that in some capacity.
Right on. So after your show, and we're in December now. Like what else happened in the last year, man?
Ooh, what has happened the last year? Um,
I've seen you do
so
some pretty cool stuff, being in helicopters, going traveling, doing all the other different things. I mean, it seems like it's been a pretty cool year. So let's just unpack some of this stuff.
yeah, so I guess going in the timeline order, March, April, so for kind of context, I am, I guess, kind of more recently, the director of content for a company called Price Plow. And we are supplement news and education channel, podcasting, really just trying to drive the supplement and fitness industry forward as best we can.
And before you were just their videographer, their hired
Yeah.
videographer, right?
So I started as their video editor in 2021 in like October, and it's just kind of slowly evolved from like video editor to videographer to traveling with them, doing vlogs, to then doing like short form content, educational breakdowns on supplements I'm using or partners that we have. And then now it's kind of just director of content. I have a video editor under me that I work with, and he helps me out with getting content out. And we have a couple other creators that I now get to work with and help just kind of like push the direction of what the content quality and direction of Price Plow is and is moving towards. But we um, came up with another page that's just focused in beverage, which is called BevLab. And that's where they've really given me the opportunity to really just be the to be pretty much the CEO of that and have that be my baby, that's better said, for it to be my baby and to grow that and have that kind of be where I can really focus on growing and expanding in kind of my own capacity, but still being able to work with Price Plow. Because we eventually want to do like we have Price Plow where it's like supplement news education, Bev Lab is going to be beverage, and then we'll eventually we want to do like a functional food page. So just covering different areas of like the fitness nutritional industry. But we started that, and it's just been kind of head down grinding, trying to grow this Bev Lab platform. And now recently, the Bev Lab podcast. Um, so that's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of content creation, a lot of energy drink content, which I am loving, and that's part of why they gave me the opportunity was because I really enjoy this industry, and we did want to get into that avenue. So it kind of made sense for me to kind of just take the reins on that. I do obviously have help with like the Price Paw guys, and they've been amazing for it. But yeah, so we started that. That's been wild. The biggest shocker with that has been like it started with just doing like s- um, beverage reviews where I'm talking about a certain drink, talk about the ingredients, whatever. And now it's turning into just doing trendy beverage content, and that's what's really been doing well for it. So it's just learning a new type of content that it's been a lot more fun. It's been a lot more fun for me to like create these fun videos about energy drinks, and people are really resonating a lot more than they were previously. So that's been a really fun learning experience. And aside from that, on the price plow side of things, um, we just had a lot of cool opportunities this year. One of them was getting to go down to Bucked Up. Um, it was crazy timing wise. It was actually the week before the Charlie Kirk assassination, and the UVU campus is literally across the street from where we were at. So like it was wild when that happened to think like, dude, last week I was just pretty much right on campus, right next to it, and have such a tragedy happen. But yeah, we were able to go there. Took us on a helicopter ride through the Utah mountains, which was an absolutely incredible experience. One of the scariest things I've ever done, but it was also a lot of fun. Um, and the most recent trip we just wrapped up was Supply Side Global down in Las Vegas. It's pretty much the Super Bowl of the supplement industries, where everybody from like manufacturing to ingredient creation companies, even like Bucked Up was down there, other supplement companies. Everybody just comes together, shows the new innovation coming next year, celebrating big wins from maybe the previous year, what's happened this year, and it's just hanging out in Vegas with a bunch of friends. And our group is always kind of like the workout group. We don't like to party as much, so it's just waking up early, training, filming all day, slamming caffeine, and repeat. Um, it's truly been, as I think about it, I don't take enough time to really reflect on the months and this last year that's happened. And you know, God has just been so good. He's really been moving in our lives, you know, professionally and just, you know, in my marriage and with my family and friendships. Um, it's just been a very fruitful year, man. I'm just super grateful, honestly. I'm just kind of reflecting on it as we're talking about it. It's been crazy, man. I don't I don't know how it all happened and how we're at the end of 2025. We're going into 2026, but I'm excited for what the future has for us, man. I'm excited for not only us as in Price Pilot, but as in you too, and for like what's in store for the podcast. It's I can only imagine with the growth that happened this year, it's gonna be a fantastic year for you next year, man.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's gonna be great. It's been a crazy year this year for me, just leaving my job and going full time on the fitness side of things, and then get my eyes opened on that podcast I went on of like what a podcast can actually grow into. I was kind of doing it more of like a hobby and meeting people, and
Mm-hmm.
I never looked at it as like I was going to try and monetize it or anything, and it's not monetized yet. It's got a long ways to go, but I really opened my eyes to what's possible. And I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
dang.
What's been the biggest eye opener for you this year?
how hard it is to be a business owner,
Mm-hmm.
how hard it is to, just have everything on your shoulders now, and you're not getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. You got to go and find the work, and no one's gonna make you do the work in the morning. Like, there's not a time you got to wake up. There's nothing that if you don't want to get up on time, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to do your work, that's fine. But there's no money coming in. There's nothing, so it's all on your shoulders, and you have to really just take that by the horns. And now you have to really make yourself disciplined, because there's things that have to get done every day, and if they don't get done, your business won't grow. You have to really treat it like a plant. You got to water that every day. You got to make sure that you're trimming off areas that don't need to be here anymore.
Right.
And really just figuring that stuff out. And you're just taking in all this information like a fire hose and just trying to keep some of it. And you're just like, what the heck, man? I don't think I would be able to do all this, honestly, if I did not start going to church last year, though. When I think right after I had talked to you, I'd done my first time going to church.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to you, and I was just thinking about going to Rock Harbor, and then I'd gone like my first time. I think the weekend after we had our podcast. But that was the biggest thing for me was getting into faith, to really be like, okay, I think this is definitely what I need to do. I need to leave the prison. I need to go after and find purpose, and not be. Money's important, but purpose is more important. So that's been huge in my life. Is just really just. I'm not completely sure on how the scripture goes, but it's like, lean not unto your own understandings. Like, just have faith or something to do with that. But
absolutely, I actually, that's awesome that you bring that up, because this last year for me has also been definitely a huge year of growth in my faith as well. I think I was just telling my wife this last night as I was talking to her about coming on the podcast again, that you and me are on, I think, very similar faith journeys of where we're at in our walk with Christ, and, where we aspire to be, and how we aspire to lead our lives. And, that's one of the best mindset shifts and things I realized when it comes to faith is, the scripture says God provides for, the creatures of the earth and the birds in the air.
Right.
And so if he does that, what do you think he's going to do for us? And if we just lean into Christ and we lean into our faith, we find that all the other things kind of just fall into place. Like, there's a huge sense of peace that comes with knowing that I'm going to be provided for as long as I'm just reaching out to God as much as I can. And I mean, I think it's both of how our lives have gone and how they're going. It's kind of a testament of that, of, we've had previous lives in a sense to where we were focused on making money. We were focused on really just getting through the day, groceries, food, whatever, like earthly things. And now it's just like getting our daily fruits, giving our first fruits of the day to God. And then from there, it's like my mind's not really worried about that stuff. It's just like, I'm going to go throughout my day. God's going to give me the strength that I need to deal with whatever I need to deal with. And, he's going to provide everything that I need, and he knows what I need. So it's definitely, it's just a beautiful thing, man. It is a beautiful thing to wake up and just know that we're going to be provided for, and we don't have to worry about that. All we have to do is just like keep our eyes on God as much as we can.
Yeah. Center of your life, every decision you make, whether it's with your kids, your marriage, your business, you have Christ at the center of everything that you do. Everything that you do is going to be in the right direction. You're not making anything off of haste or greed, trying to chase things, or jealousy, whatever, right?
Yep.
That's something that's been interesting for my wife and I recently. Is we started going to a marriage marriage classes at Rock Harbor that they've offered always, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't that like our marriage is bad or anything, but I'm like I would like to set a good example for our kids of what a marriage should look like in the Christ centered marriage, because she didn't grow up in the church. I had no God in my childhood, right? So I really wanted to make sure that our kids have some kind of a good example of what it should look like. And so we're going to these classes now to find out what it should look like. We don't know. We're giving it our best. I think a lot of people just give it their best, whether it's parenting or whatever it is. Like you just gotta give it your best. But I think if we can get like some kind of foundation and
Mm-hmm.
realize, Christ first, then your spouse, then your kids.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people might put their kids first and then their wife, and then anything that's left over they can go give to God, right?
Right.
And that's been something that we've had to change up, is making sure that God's first. And then when God's first, then you start treating each other more like, you treat your wife the same way. I don't even know how it goes, but
I get what you're
you know
saying.
what I mean? Like you just
Absolutely.
So that's just been a cool thing for us, and my wife's on the same journey too, and she's all supportive, and she reads her Bible more than I do. Unfortunately, I need to get better, but so it's kind of cool just seeing that and seeing the change. And then also like once we started really diving into church and everything, and you see your old life and you're like, man, or you're going around old people that you used to be with and you're like, this is so bad. These people are so negative and toxic, and I was that.
Yep.
And then you just want to help them, and you're like, our life has changed so much since we started walking with Christ. Would you guys like to join us on Sunday? And
Yes.
you gotta at least like plant the seed and give them options. But
Mm-hmm.
they're like, no, we're going to heaven. We're fine. We believe we're good people, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
but do you have a relationship?
Right. That's been
Because I think that's a misconception with a lot of people. Is like, I'm a good person. I'll be fine. I'll go. And Wes Huff. I don't know if you ever listened to Wes Huff.
Mm-mm.
But he was talking. He's like, in the Bible it says that anybody that's good goes to heaven, but no one is good.
Right. I think over the last year, I've had a huge realization. It's actually mostly been in the last 6 months, now I think about it, of what true salvation is, because that was my thought process for a long time of like, I have a good heart, so I'm not going to go to hell. And it's been in the last 6 months where I've really realized how true salvation comes and how I really need to look at this and how I need to look at my relationship with Christ. And once I really started to, and I feel like I'm ever learning this, because there's days where I feel so confident in like my faith, and then there's days where I have doubts. But now there's a lot more days than there were a year ago of like, I know Jesus Christ died on the cross for my sins, rose 3 days later, and that is the only reason why I have the opportunity to be saved. There is no other way around it. There is no, I can will this, I can, be the best person I could possibly be. We are innately evil. We are innately sinners. And the only way that we can get to heaven is putting our faith in the fact that Jesus died for us, for our sins, took that burden from us, and is like, here's your free pass. I'm going to defeat evil. I'm going to defeat death. You just have to have faith in me through the good, through the bad. And that has been, like, I'm sure as you know too, just the most humbling experience of like, wow, like I truly don't have to try and will this. I don't have to feel like every time I don't do the right thing that, I'm going to hell. I'm not a good person. I'm not worth it, because now we realize that those are the thoughts from the adversary. Those are the thoughts that we're told that are going to happen, and that at the end of all of it, we still need to, through those doubts, know in our heart that we are saved because Jesus Christ. And that was like one of the most freeing feelings. And like I said, I feel like there's highs, there's lows, as you get, I'm sure too. But it is the most freeing feeling of just knowing like, whew, I don't have to I don't have to be this mold. I don't have to be this person. If I just open my Bible daily, if I just pray daily, if I just work constantly on that, a relationship with Christ will happen. Because there's been a lot of times where I've thought like, man, I don't feel like I'm saved. I don't feel like I'm a good Christian. I feel like I'm living one way sometimes and I'm saying I'm living another way sometimes. And then I have to realize 5 years ago, that version of me is dead. There's not a question in that. There was a different mindset. There's just a different person I feel like that I am. And same thing with like 7 years ago, 10 years ago, like ever since I made the decision to like start going to church with my wife, that Christ was going to be at the center of our marriage, that it's just been a slow day-to-day transformation. And one thing I really really liked, the pastor for Life Church, they have like a podcast. I forgot his name. Pastor Mark. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering this. I'm just gonna call him Pastor Mark. Um, he said there's a difference between salvation and transformation. Salvation, do you believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins, rose 3 days later, and that is the only way that we can get to heaven is through faith in him? And then transformation is an ever going life process. So, salvation, I believe in Jesus, I'm saved, I'm going to heaven. But that's not where God wants us to stop. He wants transformation. And that is an ever going long process. And that's where I see, like, not in the micro level, I see that at the macro. I see that as like 5 years. God willing, I live 50 years more. I'll look back and I'll be able to say, oh, that was another human as well. Because it's it's not just a one and done, okay, I'm good. Now I'm just going to live how I want to live. It is at that point you're saved. Now you just have to work on that relationship with Christ. You have to work day after day after day. And it's not something you'll see after a week, after a month, but you will see over time, and that will continuously see. And that's what's, I think, one of the most beautiful things about faith is like we get to stand here and be like, dude, I was such a butt. I was this, I was that. And I still am in some cases, but at least my mind and heart is right at this point. And at least, you know, I'm aiming for the right things, even though that we screw up every day in one capacity or another. At least at this point in our lives, like we're able to still have that foundation at the end of the night, that security of like, man, I screwed up so many times today, but I'm still saved. My wife is still saved. Like we still have the eternal life that we get to look forward to. And especially in this day and age with how crazy things are getting in our country, but just in our world, like there's a lot of fear that I have sometimes, and that my wife, being the amazing teammate that she is with me, she'll just be like, remember, God's plan is beautiful no matter what. And he tells us in the Bible to not fear. So that is like the ultimate, you know what? You're right. It's good. We're okay. No matter the good, no matter the bad, we're in the right place.
It's such a freeing feeling too of just knowing that there is a plan and not to have fear, even when stuff pops up and it would just crush some people that don't have faith. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not saying it's not hard still, but you're like, we'll get through this. There's a plan. Either I'm getting slowed down to block me from something that was coming, or this is gonna teach me a lesson to get me prepared for the next chapter of my life. But either
Mm-hmm.
way, I have faith. It's good. We're gonna be fine. God
Mm-hmm.
takes care of the birds, gives them a home. He's gonna take care of me.
Yep.
And I think when you were talking about the salvation and transformation, it's not that the Bible tells you you have to change, but when you realize what Jesus did for all of our sins, that makes you not want to live in sin because of what a great sacrifice that was.
Mm-hmm.
That you're like, how can I keep purposely living in sin, doing the same things over and over again when this is such a great sacrifice for me? He doesn't even know me. This happened 2,000 years ago, but yet he knew that he was doing this for us. Why would I want to keep purposely doing this and not want to be better and be more Christ-like?
Yes.
And that's an internal decision that you're making, not because the church is telling you have to do this, you
Yes. And the one thing I think has been really beautiful about like diving into the Bible, and really like I've never been more understanding of like the Bible. It felt like for a long time I try and read them. I'm just not getting this connection. I don't understand. And now I'm really starting to understand some of these stories just through like studying through there's a podcast called The Bible Show that they do deep dives into chapters, into verses. And it is so awesome to know that God uses anybody. And the Bible is dripping with people who are quote unquote undeserving. And you find in all of it that in the end, God says, no matter what we say, like if I'm gonna use you, I'm gonna use you. And you can run, you can hide, you can do whatever you can to run away from me, but I'm always gonna be reaching out for you. And that there, I'm just like, wow, if God used Moses when he in a part of his life didn't look like he really wanted anything to do with God, with his covenant, um using someone like Abraham, using someone like Jacob, like there's hope for me too, and that is so assuring to know that like my plans truly don't matter, and that how God wants to use me, he's going to do it. So like if I can just do my best to let go of the reins, let go, let God, it's going to make for the best life possible, the most fulfilling life possible. Can't believe
Yeah.
we just went on this.
Yeah.
I feel like we always get into faith, but I I
That's
think
when centered, right? It's got to be centered in everything you do.
I love it. I love it. I do want to pivot really quick. I want to ask you a
Yeah.
question. With
Yeah.
this is something I was thinking about way early on in our conversation, but with you diving into entrepreneurship this year, what's a normal day look like for you right now? How does your day look, or how does a week look? I don't know which would make more sense, but what does life look like right now for you? Getting up to going to bed.
Yeah. So most days I'll get up and I try and get to the gym first. Recently, starting this month, I've just been trying to dive into the word first. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a new thing I'm going to
Like
be changing into.
3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, so that's been another thing too. I've just been trying to work on my discipline, getting back up early.
Okay.
I've had hard times going to sleep lately, so I'm like, you know what? Easiest way to go to sleep is get up earlier. It's gonna suck that first day, but then that night I just been passing out. So
Mm-hmm.
it's also a discipline thing. I feel like sometimes when my life is getting a little too complacent, I have to check my discipline. And yeah, I've been sleeping in, and that's why I think some of our schedules might have mixed up at the gym because I was going in later or I just didn't have a good routine. So that's been another hard part for me. You ask about my routine is I'm still trying to dial one in.
Okay.
I do try and start the day out with working out just to get my mind clear and start out on a good track like that. Checking in with clients, checking in on their progress, checking in, make sure that they're eating what they need to be eating, sending them little notes on what they can change if not. Um, and then I dive into content, trying to do content, trying to plan that out. It's been weird doing scripts for things. I've
More of an
never been in
organic type
this.
of content person.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't been a content person really. Like I've been doing content now, but it hasn't come naturally. So
Okay.
that's been nice this year. Just trying to get more authentic with who I am,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes with reps. So I feel like now it's getting a little bit easier. Instead
Yeah.
of going word for word on the script, I just know what I want to say, and I'll just run with it.
Nice.
I do try and plan out on like the Google Calendar different things for the week. I have different Zoom trainings that I got to do for my coaching. I'm in a coaching mentorship,
Mm-hmm.
and so they teach us different ways of like how to make your content better. They do content audits, they do sales training, they do just different things. So I try and hop on those as much as I can.
Nice.
Then diving into editing my videos, trying to watch YouTube videos on how I can get better, trying to just figure everything out. Like a lot of YouTube, man.
Yeah, it is. YouTube University.
Yeah. And then oh, one thing I've been really trying to work on this year is just distractions, man. I have so much stuff to do, and then I just get sucked into my phone because I work on my phone, but then I automatically just start veering off to reels or something, and like I'm like saying I want to do it for inspiration, but then I just get sucked into it. So I'm like, frick, man, that's been a big one for me, and I struggle with that is just staying focused. I talked to my doctor. I was like, I'm pretty sure I got ADHD. I don't want to get on Ritalin or anything. Like, what can I do though, just to help focus? He's like, copious amounts of caffeine. I was like, all right, I can do that
Nice.
because I can see where it calms me down. I can get a little bit more focused, which
Huh.
I probably should talk to you about. Like, what's some good energy drinks with nootropics, so at least I can get
You got one in your hand, brother.
yeah.
You got
There we
one in your
go.
hand. Yes, sir.
So yeah, I'll just be drinking a bunch of caffeine, trying to get my focus up, trying to do that. But for me, sometimes I just got to go throw my phone in the other room and come back out here
Yep.
and just not have it. Because even if I just put it on silent, but it's still on me and it vibrates or something, then I go check it out. And I've had to just turn my notifications off on my phone, which kind of sucks because then sometimes I'll
Miss
miss
things.
whole threads in like our ministry group. And then I'm like, oh crap, okay, you guys have been trying to ask me a question, but
I'm so glad you understand, bro. Because we're in the same boat at that point of like, being on our phone on these social media sites are kind of our job. And it is so hard to like, I need to in 2026, like, I need to give myself a strict like time limit that I'm on there to really make sure every time I open the app it's productive. But it is tough, dude, because I'm in the same boat where I don't have many of my notifications on, especially like all of them are off on social media. Um, but there'll be times like where I'm like, dude, I gotta throw my phone over there. And I'm sitting there for a minute. I'm like, oh, but I forgot. I gotta text this person about this thing.
yeah.
And I forgot to message this person back. And it's like this back and forth. It's so unhealthy, but it is like it's part of our job. So I definitely gotta find a better boundary system for that. I go through these ups and downs with it of like some weeks I'm really good about like I just get on, I post, and I don't look at it for a while. And there's others where it's like get on, post, comment to some people, post to the other platform, comment to some people, and jump back and forth to where like my head is just hurting a little bit. I'm like, I gotta cool it, dude. Like it's definitely tough, but it's also fun. It's
Yeah, I've
also
tried
fun.
different things too. They say if you turn on grayscale on your phone so there's no color, your brain doesn't like it. And I
That's a good
just end up,
idea.
yeah, I've tried that, end up just turning it back on for like the night. And then, when I'm done working, and then I just leave it on, and then I'm back in the same boat. So I think
Nice.
at the end of the day, just getting it out of my sight, because even with grayscale, I can just power through it, you
Yeah,
know?
for
Then it
sure.
becomes like, oh no, this doesn't bug me. It's like a mental challenge. Like I'm just fighting myself.
Yeah. It's a very weird mentality that we kind of have to have with this thing. It's new. It's new. It's not a lot of people out there that truly get it in comparison to like 20, 30 years ago. Like this is all very new on how AI is evolving, how social media is evolving, and how influencers and stuff are evolving. So it's just an ever learning process that we just gotta find that boundary, that impossible silver line boundary. We'll get there though.
What's a day look like for you?
It's
I guess on a day that you're not traveling.
yeah. So normal day for me right now, we'll just let's call it we'll just say a Monday because I am in Ironman 70.3 prep. So every day is very different in a sense, like workout wise, but kind of the main things are the same. Monday morning I'll wake up with what you've inspired me to do, get my daily fruits or give my first daily fruits to God. Get up around like 6:30. I'll read scripture for about 30-40 minutes. And during that time I'll hydrate, kind of just um get my mind woken up a little bit. Um have a pre-workout meal, which is usually like just cream of rice and a protein shake. Go and do a right now I guess it's a little different because I'm training for a marathon at the end of this month. So I'm kind of strategically placing my runs in the middle or the beginning of the week so that my long run is Saturday to prep for this marathon. But I'll do like a 5 mile run right now, 5-6 mile tempo run, followed by a swim workout. And then I'll come home, I'll eat, usually cold plunge for 3 minutes, Really just I've really enjoyed cold plunging daily, 1 or 2 times a day. Just honestly, mental clarity and inflammation control. Um, for sure, though, it's like the mental clarity is the big thing for me. It really just sets my mind really clear. And it really makes me focus on my breathing. Um, and then I'll do some editing for a couple hours, do what I need to do, content wise for Price Plow and Bev Lab. Then take the dog out for an afternoon walk, try and get my daily 10,000 steps. And then, it's getting dark at like 5 p.m. now. So at that point, it's usually just getting things taken care of around the house since my wife is a physical therapist assistant. She's out all day working. So since I'm at home, I'm the one to kind of, make sure the dishes are done, vacuuming's done, all that good stuff. And then wife gets home around 5 or 6, and we'll watch an episode of a show. Right now we're watching a lot of Candace Owens, and then go to bed around 8 or 9. It's and then repeat with a different workout the next day. I guess like right before bed, I've been really enjoying cold plunging too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's again like
I would have
really
thought that would have
having
woke you up.
it's surprising because when I get in there, it's 3 minutes. Water temperature's like between right now 35 and 45 degrees. So it's 3 minutes of focusing on intentional breathing, which really gives my system that chance to calm down, settle into breathing. And then at that point, your core temperature is so cold that we'll put like a heating pad in the bed. So when I get out, I'll just dry off and I'll either hop in the shower for a couple minutes and just kind of bring that temp up and then hop in bed, or I'll just jump straight in bed. And that like feeling of your body temperature coming back up and you're in a warm bed, it kind of just helps me to just fall asleep easier. So I've really, really enjoyed that. And then, yeah, that's the day.
That's cool. Yeah, I would have thought that the cold just wakes you up. So I've always tried to do when I did do the cold plunge. I haven't done it in probably a year,
Hmm.
but I've been trying to do like the cold showers now. Just like turn it straight to cold for like the last minute of the shower. But
It's tough.
yeah, the running water sucks.
Yeah, I think cold plunges, because I've done cold showers too, and I've enjoyed plunging more. I don't know why, but yeah, it was always so hard when I take cold showers. I'm like, this sucks, man.
I've heard people can put like things in your cold plunge to make the water circulate, and that makes it even worse, which would be crazy.
Sometimes I usually do a daily story of me like hopping in the plunge, and
Yeah,
with the cans I use, sometimes I'll like stir the water if it's not as cold as I want. But lately, with the temperature drop, it's finally getting to a point where like it's just cold the whole time, which is perfect.
you're gonna have to start breaking ice on the top.
I did my first one the other day. It was a reminder of like I am always really good. I've done cold plunging on and off for the last couple years, and it seems like I usually don't do it in the summer because this is an outdoor plunge that I have. It's just like a trough I have water in. The water never gets cold enough. I can't put enough ice in it. So it's like October through December-ish, I'm really good about it. And then it gets to the point where it's really cold and I have to like break ice. And that's the point where this year I really want to stay true to this routine because I'm starting to really feel some benefits from this and I'm really enjoying how I feel. So, yeah, it's tough, dude, because there's points where, I mean, it gets down to like negative degrees in Idaho. So
Hmm.
you're slamming that thing with a 30-pound dumbbell and jumping in. It's tough, but feeling after, it's even better.
I see some people in there talking on their story while they're in it, and it's like there's these ice chunks, and they're just talking all calmly. I'm like, that's an amazing place to be where you can be that calm. I'd be like freaking,
Uh huh.
you know.
Yeah. And that's what's fun about it. It's like you get better over time. Because that was me when I first got in, was like, I hated it and I just couldn't. And now it's just done. You're in. Just focus on breathing for a couple of minutes and you're out and you feel good.
Yeah, I seen this funny meme, and it was talking about Titanic. It's like for a little bit, everybody there
Uh huh.
had a great cold plunge. If only
Yep.
they knew who Wim Hof was back then,
Oh my
they would have been
gosh.
fine.
Oh my gosh. I haven't heard that one before. No way. Savage. Savage.
So we both do editing and making videos, and I think that a lot of people are starting to do like CapCut, and they're starting to do different. They're starting to make their own videos. What's some of the tips that you could give that can elevate someone's video?
Um, you know, the first tip is honestly nothing that goes into the video editing itself. It's just consistency, doing it consistently, whether it's once a day, twice a day, just staying on top of that and staying true to that. Um, and just not putting so much pressure on like having to have a camera, having to have the perfect lighting or whatever. Like I was mentioning before with the BevLab content, really learning like organic content, phone content is some of the best that you can have, and it's so easy to where I use the Instagram Edits app usually for like phone content. Just do what I need to do. Um, if you do like morning cardio, like that's a perfect place to do it, you know? Or I guess I usually do it like at breakfast. I'll like say my prayers, start eating, and then I'll kind of just go back and forth between eating and doing this. But I think the consistency and just not putting so much pressure on the quality is the most important thing, because there's people who have amazing softwares editing and there's people who use just CapCut or the Edits app, whatever. And I mean, Instagram's not going to tell the difference really. And most of the time, it feels like the content I do on my phone outperforms the professional content that I do like on my camera, or I'm editing, excuse me, for like a client work where it's more professional and all laid out. So I think it's just making sure to just find your niche and stick to that and stick with the consistency. Um, because it's the hardest part, I think, is finding like a community and finding that niche of people who enjoy and are looking for the exact type of content that you or I put out, or whoever. So it's really just dialing in, who do I want to speak to? How do I want it to translate? And how do I get that in front of them consistently? Those are the biggest things.
Yeah, consistency is key. I think that if you can just get your first 100 posts, you'll learn so much.
Yes, absolutely. What was the biggest thing you learned in your first 100 posts?
Hmm. I think one of the things that they teach us is to try and change the scene every 3 to 5 seconds, and I was just keeping the same camera angle the whole time.
Okay.
But they're just like psychology wise, your brain's always looking for that new thing, and if it starts to just feel like it knows what's going to happen, or it's just getting bored, it'll turn off. So like if you change a scene every 3 to 5 seconds, then you like want to see what's next. It's kind of like when you're scrolling on TikTok or whatever, right? You just and for the hook is the most important part, because if you can't hook them within that first 3 seconds,
That's
if
true.
that might be too much.
That's true.
The TikTokification of the world, you know.
Yeah, no kidding. You got to capture someone in like 1 to 3 seconds, which is crazy because it's like, it's wild that we put so much into like, we need you to watch this, but you got to catch them in that first couple seconds. So it's like, what can I do that catches them? What can I say?
Shania Twain, baby.
Shania Twain, baby. That's what's working for me, man. That's wild. That's been the craziest thing of like, I went, I remember talking to a buddy about this. Like 2022 was my first viral video, I'd say, where I think I got like 400,000 views. And from the end of 2022 until literally like the beginning ish of this year, middle ish of this year, nothing over like 10, 20K. And then I see this coffee video of, I think his handle's Millennial Mike. I hope I'm not butchering that, but I think that's what it is. And it was him dancing this ridiculous dance to Shania Twain with coffee. And I'm like, I bet I could do this with energy drinks. And did it once. And that thing is at almost 1 million right now. And the coolest thing about that is at the beginning of the year, I made a list of things that I want to accomplish in 2025, trying to manifest these. I really believe if you write down your goals at the beginning of the year, like that is like the first step of really reaching something. And I wrote down, I want my first piece of content that hits 1 million this year. And by the rate it's going, bro, it's going to be like last week of December. It's going to hit that milli. So it's crazy how that worked out and how it's working. But yeah, dude, if all else fails, Shania Twain.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I just got a whole bunch of these boards. We're all gonna do vision boards in the house, because I think I'm a big believer in that too. Like at least I'll put it up there where I'm working every day, so I want to reach my phone and get distracted. Like this is what you're giving up for this phone right now, you know?
Yep. What are you looking forward to 2026? What are some things you want to add to that vision board if you've, thought about it yet?
What did I put? I haven't made it yet, but I wrote them all down just so it's easier to print them off.
Okay.
But I want to do. I'll put some Christ stuff in there too because I need to make sure.
Yeah. I was gonna have at least a faith one.
I want to work on my public speaking.
Cool.
Because just when you're editing your stuff, you notice so much, and you're like how I just said, like those filler words just bug me so bad when I hear myself do them. So I've been working really hard on taking a pause rather than ums and ahs, and that's really hard.
It is.
Pause and not just fill it with and things like that, or things like that, So
yes,
I'm still working, dude. It's hard.
It is
freaking
so hard. I get
so
you.
I definitely want to work on public speaking. I need to get a passport. I've never had a passport in my life, and I want to go up to Canada where there's the PT Domination is the group I'm in.
Cool.
And they have events up in Kelowna, and then there's also Dan Martell. He does founder hikes where you can go and hike with him and pick his brain. Otherwise, to get one-on-one coaching with him is like $250,000. But he has this thing where if you show up, like on Tuesdays, there's a 45-minute hike that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can show up and you can pick his brain. And it was like, if I can get two birds stoned at once,
That'd
they
be
have
sick.
their event. And I think Kelowna is only like 10 or 12-hour drive. So, I mean, it's not crazy. And my buddy went up there last year for an event. He said it took longer than that with all the layovers to get back to Boise.
Dang. Wow. That sounds cool.
Grow podcast to 10,000 followers, which might be a little extraordinary, but
dude, don't say that. You
yeah.
never know. It takes one video and you're like,
that's true.
There you go.
Yeah, because I have one video on my Instagram and I can't recreate it because it's my son almost dying.
It's when he ran out in the street, right?
Yeah, and that's at like 13.3 million.
Oh my gosh.
And that got me about 5,000 followers.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to pop off, but I have never got anywhere close to that again, and I can't. I'm like, why? I go run on the street.
Didn't you have, like, a podcast clip with Deegan's mom one time? It just, like...
Oh, yeah, that one got, like, 180,000. I got me, like, 1,000 followers.
See, it's those things, it's like...
And I just was posting them just, like, because I didn't know what to post for the day, and it's Opus Clip helped me out, and it's like, here's some clips, and I just posted them, and it popped off. And then I did dissect that one, and I was like, okay, that hook was really good. She said, being fit is rebellious. That was just like instantly. I was like, oh, okay. And then people started sharing that, and then it's that with content, I've learned too in this program, you can't be on the fence. So like you can either be completely for something or against it. You can't be both sides because then they don't want to either like it or dislike it or comment or.
That's a good way to think about it. I've never thought about it like that.
You can't be like, I think energy drinks are the best, but if you don't like them, then that's okay. You can try something else. Like, no, energy drinks are the best. And then people are like, no, I think coffee's the best or whatever, So you got to be decisive. You can't just be on the fence. So that's why I think that one popped off because she's like, being fit is rebellious. Like, who goes to the gym at 3 a.m, right? Mm-hmm. And so people are like, well, I think you can go to the gym in the afternoon too and still be fine, right? So then everybody starts commenting.
Yes.
So that's another thing I would say for content is like, be bold, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But yeah, I think I got out on a tangent there. But yeah, I want to go to Universal Studios with my wife because we've never gone on. It'll be our 10 years married next year, so I want to make enough money that I can stash it away, and I don't want to put it on credit. I want it just to be like something. So that's
smart.
I want to go to Grinchmas. I love the Grinch, so I'm gonna try it for like a year from now.
Nice. What's your favorite Grinch movie?
Oh, the 2002 Jim Carrey, for sure.
There
I can quote that whole movie, man.
Nice.
It's
nice.
I love that movie. But she loves Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm down for the Harry Potter too, but now I know they have a Grinchmas, and I'm like, all right.
Grinchmas sounds lit. I'd be down for that. That's cool.
I mean, my vision board isn't like a traditional vision board where you're putting like, I want to have a mansion by a certain age or whatever. I think it's more of kind of the goals.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I need to redefine my vision board, but
I think that's perfect. Like, those are all things that are important. And I think when people put, like, I want a mansion at 30, I want this out. When I hear mansion at 30 example, like, when I hear that, I'm like, the question that always comes to me is why? Why do you want a mansion?
Yeah.
And then usually it's a very shallow surface.
Earthly thing.
Yeah. And at that point, I'm like, why don't you work towards something else? Like, that's... when you
Yeah.
get that, you're not going to be fulfilled. Work towards the things that are fulfilling, and those are all things that I think are fulfilling. Growth of your podcast, spending time with your wife, like those are things that I think really matter. I like that. I like that a lot.
What do you got on your list for next year? What do you want to try and a year from now if we do another follow up to the follow up? Where you're gonna be?
I'm down every year, dude, to do a follow up. I love this is my one of my favorite podcasts to be on, bro. Um, First things first, definitely want to accomplish Ironman 70.3. That's July 25th or 6th
Is
next
that run,
summer.
bike, swim
Run, bike, swim. Yep.
in that order, or what's the order?
Swim, run, bike. Or sorry, swim, bike, run. It's a
Oof.
1.2 mile swim, 52-mile bike, 50 some mile bike, and then 13.1 mile run. Finish that off. So that's like the big goal for me, at least fitness and athletic wise. Um,
When's that?
that's gonna be end of July. It's like July 25th, 26th, somewhere in there. Here in Boise, which is what I'm really excited about. So I get to have like friends and family that will come out and support and, get to enjoy that. That was one thing with the bodybuilding show last year that I really wanted to compete in the Boise show that was a month before, but I just wasn't ready. So it's fun to go on the trip, but it's also fun to like do these competitions in our area so that friends and family could be there and, be that support system. That's just always fun. But as for other goals, I haven't put a lot of thought into it. I feel like I'm just going so day to day right now, that I haven't thought about 2026 a lot, but I definitely want to grow the Bev Lab podcast more. It's been a really fun avenue for us. And just grow the Bev Lab page in general, and monetize that. And above all, honestly, just grow closer to Christ. And I was just talking to my wife about this last night. Over the last 3, 4, 5 years, I was really into um, kind of like trying to learn complex ideas through reading like books. I was really into like Jordan Peterson. I was really into breathing for a while, and the importance of like breath work. And I read a couple books about like that and the benefits of oxygen, all this stuff. And over the last year, I've been really struggling to open the book that I've been on. And I was telling my wife that my mindset is shifting to where I don't want to. I guess I won't say I don't want to. I I'm just not as interested in that type of learning. Now I really want to learn how to be a leader in the home and how to be an effective leader in business and just life. But overall, a leader in the home, which is having a Christ centered household. So there's a lot of books I'm excited to get into. I just ordered the Nick Bear Go One More book, that I'm going to start probably tomorrow or Saturday. I think it's when it get delivered.
Is he the runner? Right.
Yep. Because I remember when I was in prep, I read Endure, and that was a phenomenal book. Cameron Haynes, I almost call him Chris. Cameron Haynes, is insane, and it gave me so much respect for hunting and more so the pursuit of perfection, even though that it's not possible. Because he talks about in the book that hunting is one of those things you could go every year, every season, and there is always something more you can do. There's always more you could learn. It's ever changing, and it is just an incredibly hard but incredibly rewarding pursuit, and that's what I look for in my life. Um, and so reading books by people who conquer really big feats or who've accomplished really awesome things in their lives. And I'm really into Nick Bear right now too, is because he's recently given his life to Christ, and he has a lot more content about scripture and talking about his faith and how it's just transformed him. That's what I'm really motivated by right now. So finding just more and more books that are leadership focused, faith focused, because that's what I really want to focus on being better at next year, is just being a better husband, a better leader of the household as me and my wife prepares to have kids here in the next couple years, and as well as having more responsibility with Price Plow and Bev Lab. Excuse me, goodness. And just be able to effectively lead and work with and around the people that I need to, and to do that the best capacity possible. I feel like I'm just ready to level up, you know? So that's the biggest thing. Just making sure that I'm a better leader and just a better follower of Christ.
Who
And
do
my,
you like to? Who's your favorite online pastors to listen to? Do you like listening to online pastors, or do you just kind of just stick to your?
so I listen to the Bible Show, and that's
Oh yeah, that's right.
by
Yeah.
so I highly recommend you check it out. It's I believe they're both pastors. Mike, their names are Mike and Will. Mike is a pastor, I know for sure. I think Will is too. But they are the ones that go. They just spent all of last year pretty much in Genesis, going chapter by chapter, really giving context. And now they're in Exodus right now, talking about Moses and his life. That's where, when I'm not in church, I'm listening the most, like listening to scriptures. Like I said, I was listening to Pastor Mark from Life Church too, because I really like how he delivered the information. I really liked his sermons. It was very, very relatable. And he was just so great at delivering the information. And then, just listening to our church pastors as well. That's probably my favorite. I think it's probably just because it's at church, being there, feeling the spirit, being there with my wife and my in-laws, family. There's really no feeling like that. Just being there all together, listening to the word. And it just is kind of cherry on top that our pastors over at Deer Flat are so awesome as well.
I've heard good things about Deer Flat.
It's
Yeah.
amazing,
I
dude.
mean, you remember? I remember you telling me I should try it out.
Right when you're about to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
We just found that one for Rock Harbor because my son's autistic, so they have a special buddy program for one-on-one,
That's
just
cool.
for special needs, which I
That's
didn't
really
find
cool.
anywhere else was cool. But
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't even know they offer that.
yeah,
That's really cool. Nice.
I like listening to Joby Martin, the Church of 1122 down in Jacksonville.
I was listening to Nick Bear's podcast yesterday. He mentioned this church, 1122. Tell me
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, he's really relatable, like big old beard dude, and
Okay.
his whole series this whole year has been about stand firm and act like men. So it's teaching how to be biblically a man, and he's like, a lot of churches nowadays make you think that you got to check your testicles at the door, like you got to be these putting on a dress. He's got this thing. He's like, if I wear a button up Carhartt most of the time, I look great or I look fine, right? My wife, she wears her blouse, she looks great. She puts on my shirt and she looks great. I put on her blouse and that's there's things going on. He's like, well, you got to act like men. You can't be putting on women's clothes. You can't be. This is not how the Bible is telling us to be. How they're portraying men to be nowadays for church. And so he's really diving in, and like all year it's just been about how men need to be godly husbands, godly fathers,
Nice.
and it's been amazing. So I've really been diving in that like every Monday because I'll just listen to like the Sunday like doing my cardio or something.
Will you send that to me?
Yeah,
That's cool.
I just sent it to another couple people, and it's been great. I
Cool.
even on Sundays sometimes when I'm meal prepping, I'll just put on the live one. And my
Nice.
wife was watching it one time and it was talking about like godly husbands, and I was like, maybe I should listen to this one on my own. She's like, no, keep it on.
Keep it on.
Yeah,
That's funny.
I like him. And then earlier this year, I was listening to a lot of Myron Golden,
Okay.
and he does more of like Bible-based business principles and teaching you about King Solomon and how to run your business. And that's how he makes his fortune. He's like, but it's nothing that I've done. I just read everything from King Solomon and just implemented exactly what he said. And so that's been really cool of listening how to run a business biblically. And he's talking about how Solomon was like the first content creator because he did like songs and stuff, right? And then they would perform the songs. He's like, but he had to create the content to share to many.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
The things you learn. It's funny is I'm sure you've kind of found in like your walk in faith. It's like you read these stories, and these Bible stories are so much different than I initially thought when I didn't understand them and what I'd expected these people to be like and what life was like,
Yeah, the
and
Bible's not really
how
telling you about religion.
no, no, it's not, and it's crazy. And that's the beautiful thing about it is like how what other book in the world could be this old and still be applicable today
And living.
and not be contradicting itself. And yeah, it's one of the reasons why I know the Bible is true. Like there's no contradictions, and it is still true today. It is still as perfect as it was 2,000 years ago, and you know, it's it's beautiful, man. And it's crazy. Like we think about our transformation too. Of like 5 years ago, would you have ever thought like you're listening to like faith podcasts or like those are the things you look forward to? Looking forward to going to church. Looking forward to like learning how to be a biblical husband. Like that's something I look forward to. And I'm like, even just a couple years ago, like that I was listening to horrible gangster rap music and wondering why I didn't feel very good going throughout the day, you know?
Hmm.
It's because our minds were on the right things and now they kind of are.
Music's been a hard one for me to change this year, but that's one I've been really trying to be intentional on. I just got the YouTube music, tells you about your music for last year, right? Everybody's posting it
Mm-hmm.
right now. And like my top song, which is from my son, he just loves it, but it's like Matthew West, Don't Stop Praying. So it's like my top song. And then like you look at all my other stuff. I'm like, I know if I went back and I looked at other years, it's not anything about the gospel or faith at all.
Mm-mm.
And
Nope.
I'm not saying that I still don't listen to that stuff here and there, but it definitely it's like nails on a chalkboard when I start hearing certain things.
Yeah,
And
and
I'm like, all
you
right.
feel a certain way, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
makes you kind of click next, which is that's a good sign I'm finding. Is like, if I feel that way, then I'm on the right track.
I've been trying to work on swearing this year too, and that's still not conquered for sure. But
It's a hard habit to kick, dude.
I learned when, was it Peter Simon in the Bible when they're running when Jesus is taken and he says you'll deny me 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And the time that he like they ask him like, oh, are you a part of Jesus or in one of his disciples? And the way that he shows that he's not is he starts cursing at the crowd. And
I
so
didn't
someone was
realize that.
like, when you're cursing, I mean, you're just that's how you detest God. You're showing that you're not close to Him.
Wow.
I think it was a George Janko show that I heard that.
Interesting. I didn't know that actually about when that happens. At least I don't remember it like that. Wow.
Yeah, they're like confronting him and asking him, "Are you one of his disciples?" And
Mm-hmm.
everybody's, he had just been arrested. Jesus had just been arrested,
Mm-hmm.
and so all of his disciples spread out,
Right.
and then he's running, and that's when he's like, "You're gonna detest me 3 times before the end of the night," and that was
Right.
one of them. And he just cursed and said, like, "I'm not a part of it," but it doesn't exactly tell you what he says, but it says that he cursed the crowd, and then
Didn't realize that. It is definitely a hard habit to kick, and I'm doing my best too on that. I think that's just gonna be my life, bro. Because I feel like I do so well, and then I get around some people or talk about some
mm-hmm,
things, and some words just slip out, and then after I'm like, oh, that came out really easy, and
mm-hmm.
it's definitely been a lot more cleaned up in the last couple years than it was when I was like 20. But yeah, dude, it's an ever going process. Some of those words just come out, and you're like, oh, well, next.
And like you said, when you start getting around certain people,
Mm-hmm.
you start to realize where your life used to be and how much you've grown.
That's
Unfortunately, some people you can't cut out of your life because they're family, but
right. That's actually one thing that am looking forward in 20. That's one thing that I'm trying to work on in 2026. I was just talking to my wife about this recently too. Of like, I feel like my circle is really supportive and I have some amazing people that I'm very, very close to. But I want to work on in 2026 having more brothers in Christ. You've mentioned a lot of like the Bible study that you guys do at Rock Harbor. There's one in Deer Flat, or there's a lot at Deer Flat actually on multiple different days. But I just posted this on my in my channel this morning, Faithful and Formulas. If you guys listen, make sure and join. I do giveaways. I also like to share like things I learned in Scripture. Um, and I'm in Ecclesiastes right now.
I just finished that yesterday.
Dude,
It's
it's
like
a
12 chapters.
yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. It's a crazy book. And it's very, very misunderstood. Um, for anyone who hasn't read Ecclesiastes, it's basically, it's almost a look at how life is not with the creator. So a lot of people think it's very, very negative and it's very cynical, I think, but it's just kind of showing what, if you're not close to the creator, how you may feel is what I'm finding. And it's things I felt before. I felt very negative. There's all these negative things that happened when I wasn't as close to I am as Christ. But um, in the verse I read today, it was talking about the value of friendship and saying that, like, in a nutshell, we need those friends to help pick us up, because there's going to be times where we have doubts, where we're weak in our walk and we fall and we stumble, and we need those brothers and sisters in Christ to pick us back up. And we also need to be the person to pick up those brothers and sisters, because there's going to be days where they falter, where they stumble, and they need help, because we're not going to be able to do this on our own. And life, I think, is going to only get more and more complicated, and there's going to be more and more struggles that we go through as Christians, that we need to have brothers and sisters in Christ that we can lean on in all times. And that's like the one thing that I really want to work on next year, is having more people that I can be close to, that help me toe the line and help me, you know, get out of those ruts when I have it, and to help those others, just finding more of a rooted community of brothers and sisters in Christ. That's like really been on my mind lately. So I know it's important. Um, and I was going to talk to you at some point. We'll probably talk a little bit after the show here, or I guess we can talk about it now, but like, definitely at least want to try and get out to your Bible study at least once, to give it a try, to, uh, to fill it out. It's always like the early mornings that kill me lately, and like driving out. It's in Meridian, right? Is that where your
that
church
one,
is?
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
You
it's
could drive out to my house and ride with me if you
yeah,
want.
and that might be the best plan of action, to like make sure it happens, because I definitely need to challenge myself in those ways of like, I feel complacent in some of those areas, and I really need to stop procrastinating that, because like I said, it's been weighing on me, so I know that it obviously needs to happen.
Those weighing on you feelings are amazing when you start to listen to those, because that's just the Holy Ghost talking, man.
I know. And it's beautiful, because when you do those things, you do feel that like, okay, I am doing the right thing now, you know? So it's a really good thing that I'm feeling those things. But I need to then take my step towards that. So that's going to be a big thing I work on next year, is just making sure, whether it's at Deerfly, whether it's your guys' Bible study, whatever, making sure to just get deeper roots with, definitely brothers of Christ. That's the biggest thing. Husbands, people who understand like what we go through as Christian men, and what we face, and how we need to deal with the challenges and the tribulations and the temptations that arise with, people like us, and how we try and live our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, the same way that I was talking to you about wanting to go to Kelowna
Mm-hmm.
to meet that guy that does the
Mm-hmm.
hikes.
Mm-hmm.
I've really thought about doing hikes here, just at Table Rock, but like for Christian men.
You've done that a couple times, didn't
I've
you?
done it like once, but it wasn't really like a church, or not church thing, but like a ministry kind of thing. But just if I could get like a group of Christian dudes, or even if there was other girls that would want to go, but start out as like a ministry, or not a ministry, but like just men
Mm-hmm.
that have same beliefs or whatever. Because I think for guys, it's easier to talk about things side by side.
Yes.
Sometimes doing a hike, say, and you're hiking to the top where there's a cross, so we could,
Yeah.
maybe do like a small talk, or
Mm-hmm.
what are they called? Not discipleship, but what, devotion at the top, maybe.
Oh, like a devotional
Yeah,
type of-
just something you could just do real quick, hour and a half, 45 minutes up, 45 minutes back. But you could get a lot of stuff talked about then, and you're
Mhm.
doing something. You're doing, your brain's gonna be a little bit working better when you're going up the mountain. It's also, if you do it in the winter, start doing it in the winter time. You're doing something hard.
That's true.
It's like rain or shine. Let's show up for each other every Saturday, certain time. Like I've that's been on my mind lately, and I've talked to a couple people, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll be one of your people to go with you." So I
Okay.
wouldn't mind like looking into doing something like that just to start. I don't know
Mhm.
everything about the Bible either, so it'd just be more of, yeah, just a band of brothers, foxhole, right? Like who's in your
Mhm.
foxhole? You need those guys.
Absolutely. And we find with faith too that we don't really have to do anything. You know, God's in control. It's about getting together. And then when we get together, when Christian men get together, when brothers and sisters of Christ get together, things just happen organically. Faith comes up, and you know it doesn't even always have to be about like getting together and we have to talk about the Bible and this and that. Like sometimes it's just about being in each other's company, feeling that spirit of Christ flowing through everybody, and just being a part of that hike or that workout or whatever the case is. Because that was one of my biggest. That was one of the biggest things I had questions about when it came to faith. Of like, man, I feel like I struggle so much with what I do. How am I supposed to tell others to come to Christ? But it's not about us telling anybody to do anything. It's how we live our lives that God works through that to bring others to Him, you know? Because with the mindset of like, I want to bring people to Christ, it's not about us. It's not our job. It's God's job to reach out to us and us to reach back, but it's how we live our lives that brings people to Christ. It's people see that change, they want to know more about it. It gets them curious. They want to be a part of that, and then things just happen organically. So, let me know when you do that. That's going to be so tough for me in the winter, but I got to make myself at least do it once. I got to make myself do it. This is my commitment at least once.
I think for some people too, it's easier for them to get into a ministry, say it's a hike or say it's at just a meeting rather than going to a church for the first time. It
Not
might
as
be a good
intimidating.
pause step, you know.
Yep, absolutely.
Who knows where it can go, you know?
That's the beautiful thing about faith, man, is who knows where it can go. And we don't we don't have to worry about that. Thank God. We just have to look towards him in every way that we can, give our hearts to him. Everything else works out, man. Everything else does. But please let me know when you do get that rolling. Or even be fun to just like do a group workout,
Yeah.
hit a chest day, hit a leg day with everybody. Um, it's just all about being together and finding that band of brothers, and that's
Just
the last
doing,
thing.
yeah. Even
Yep,
just doing like a ruck on the green bill or something, you
for
know?
real. Yep, absolutely. Yep.
But cool, dude. Well, I'm glad that we got on here to do a recap and just made it a faith podcast, but who knows?
It's what we do, man.
It's what happens.
That's the thing. I, that's what I want to be known for, man. That's
Yeah.
above all. People have asked me like, what if someone has never met you before? Who is Cody Fernley? Who is Matt Sidwell? And lately, I've had that mindset shift of when I answer that, the first thing is I'm a child of God. And then other than that, I'm a husband. I like fitness. I like content creation, but I'm a child of God. That's all. That's all we're on earth for and to be is children of God and to bring more people to Christ. And it's so simple. It's so hard, but it's so simple. Um and if I were to pass away tomorrow and I was known for one thing, I hope it's that I truly believed in Jesus Christ and that I I try to bring that faith everywhere I went. I think that's the most important thing. Um, and I love that it always just seems to kind of come up naturally when we're together or um, when I'm with certain friends, family. It just seems to really be prevalent in my life, and that's something that I've been waiting for and been wanting to work towards. So I'm glad that and so grateful that God's truly moving in our lives, and I'm glad to see that God's really putting some awesome people in my life. And man, we're just so blessed. We're so blessed to do what we do. We're so blessed to live where we live. We are, we truly have everything, man. We truly do. I'm truly grateful. I'm glad that I just got to talk about Jesus even more today. Like, I'm going to go and do my thing today, and I'm going to walk a little bit lighter just knowing that we had this conversation, man. And I hope that everybody listening, if they could take anything away from this podcast, is God is so good. He has a plan for you, and just reach out to him and you will never look back. Plain and simple.
Build that relationship. Take a walk. Take a step.
Yes.
One of the best analogies that I heard is like if you had a stranger come up to your door, would you let them in? And it's like, no. That's right. So why, if you don't have a relationship with God, why should He let you in, right?
Beautiful, man. And that's facts. That is 100% true. And it's not as complicated as people think. Praying can be hard, especially starting. Scripture study can be daunting. Going to church when you never have can be daunting. But just start with a prayer and start with trying to be around people. Like you said, it doesn't have to be out going to church. It could be going to work out with a group of guys. It could be going on a hike. It could be sitting down with coffee with, you know, with one of your friends who's on a walk with Christ. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. God is reaching out for us. We just gotta be open to him. We just gotta be open to it.
Cheers to that.
Cheers, man.
All right, man. Where's everybody gonna follow you at?
Follow me on Instagram, Cody_Fernley, BevLab Media. Same thing on TikTok, BevLab Media, and YouTube. Definitely give BevLab a follow, though. We are cranking Shania Twain edits right now, so you don't want to miss it. We're hitting every energy drink out there, but a lot of Ghost. So make sure, bump some Shania Twain, give us a follow, and yeah, that's it.